first international festival of chamber theatres, Andriivskyi Fest, Georgian masters presented the public with the anti-war performance Lullaby to the War. Our main goal is to make viewers start thinking. For us, the war is very close to our hearts, and our main task is always to transform the viewer and transform the end results. The Marko Kropivnitsky Ukrainian theatre, staging of Do Not Leave Your Friends Unattended. How a man compares himself with art. And it was exactly this play, Art, that was sounded very widely and was staged all across Europe. We also decided to take and do this performance. What is the power of art? How do you teach people to love or to eliminate the discord between friends? Watch next in the ProART programme. Director Irakli Gorgia, with his Georgian theatrical landing, visited the festival Andriivskyi Fest in Kyiv. To participate in the festival marathon, they selected a documentary play, Lullaby to the War. They were going to a country where a war is ongoing, and this theme is close to Georgians' hearts, as for no one else. It seems to me that, of course, the theatre has the right to use this form. It's very explosive and highly emotional. It corresponds to the Georgian temperament and to the general theme, which now has a serious impact on everyone. We chose our chamber performance for this festival, and we touched upon Ukrainian issues in this performance as well, because we created a play about the war, about the story of the two wars going on in Syria and Ukraine. So we created this as a story about a certain individual. This is one of our latest theatrical experiments. The Sandro Akhmeteli State Drama Theatre has for long and concisely followed its chosen course. It is in the vanguard of revolutionary transformation, both in the sphere of art and in life of society. It is necessary to transform so that the theatre becomes revolutionary, to change the lives of people. Without this, it is not interesting, because the capitalists, the oligarchs, have already eaten up a good piece of the whole world. Our main problem is for people to talk about this, and not only to say that they have changed their space. It was the beginning of a vivid anti-war performance presented by the Georgian group. The very name of the production sounded to sing a lullaby of war in order to stop and euthanize it. As the actors say, they do not perform the play, but each time they live the entire story and the peripetia of the performance. The performance in general is very emotional for us, because I'm 29 years old and I've already seen two wars in Georgia, one when I was 5 years old and the second one in 2008. When the young actor Gigi Migriuli came to the festival, he almost felt at home. He has been here more than once and understands all the pain of the Ukrainians in connection with the war in the Donbass. For Migriuli, the war is not simply a bright and profound topic for acting. The war for me is very close to my heart, because 20% of Georgia is occupied, and I understand exactly what Ukraine is feeling and going through right now. And this is a performance for which language has no meaning, because everything was placed on deep emotions. This play is about the war in Ukraine and about the war in Syria. Our performance, Lullaby to the War, is about that huge tragedy and the tremendous horror that war causes and evokes in people, and all that goes with it. We often just skip all of this horrifying information that comes to us, because it's very hard to accept all of it. Veronika Kalandarashvili is one of those actresses who let the role go through her heart. And in such a performance, where it's necessary to talk about the grief and suffering of people, nothing happens without deep personal empathy. That is why the actress is sure that the power of art can change a lot in the world and in the country and in your soul. But I think that one of the main functions of the theatre is to speak directly with people, to speak directly about those problems and all those horrors without any embellishment. Together we can change a lot, and our performance is a manifestation of the war. Fictional characters act in the production, but when the participants gathered and looked at their children's photos, they suddenly realised that it was, in fact, all about their history. Indeed, this performance was born from their childhood memories of the wartime. The metaphoric performance is based on documentary material. Actors are living through those emotions that they themselves experienced in childhood. They presented the world as seen through the eyes of children who died during the war. Here are the children suffering in Syria, and here are the displaced refugees from Crimea. We also had 500,000 refugees in Georgia after the terrible events in Abkhazia. Then in 2008, there were about 300,000 refugees. We did not use real pictures of children because we didn't want to manipulate people's minds. All these shots that you will see are our own photos. We also grew up in times of war, just like you have here in Ukraine. I think that the audience will understand this and take it to their heart, because just like in Georgia, you also have a very difficult situation. There are 5 actors on the stage. Director Irakli Gorgia is just like an orchestra conductor, inaudible but clearly and confidently managing all the components of the production. The language of the performance was Georgian, but visually it was so expressive that all was crystal clear without words. The visual range and actors' inner feelings are very powerful. The conflict problem, the drama, it is all felt and properly conveyed to the viewing audience. And of course, it's very interesting. The main thing is to be yourself and talk about the problem. In Ukraine, what is your problem? The war. We have the same. We can all say together, let's not fight. Because if you want the land, I'll give it to you. Just please do not kill my family and close relatives. As the creators of the play said, first they had just a theme that worried them. To implement what was planned, the director and the actors took the example of 2 wars, Syrian and Ukrainian, and showed their common problem, the death of innocent children. The creators of the play visually demonstrated that the only way out is to renounce all violence in these countries in the name of peace and life on earth. The image of a Shahid woman who strips off her belt of death and throws it away is a vivid example of insight. She does not need war and the death of children. Art has a powerful impact. It can change the world and make people better. But in order to achieve this, people need to unite and resist evil. It is not by chance that the apotheosis of the play was a Ukrainian lullaby, and festivals contribute to such unity of creative forces as best as possible. Actress Veronika Kalandarishvili is confident. People think that they do not have the strength to resist all this, both wars and maybe oligarchs who really need these wars. Maybe because of the weapons, because of the territory. These festivals and the exchange of creative experience have a strong impact on us and make us stronger. And then we get more ideas and gain more experience to engage in something new with people and to openly talk with the audience about these highly emotional and sensitive issues. I see that this is very good in all respects. It is very interesting for spectators and actors. This is a communication that arises between actors and directors during this festival program, and new contacts are being organized, which is very important. At the festival, the theatrical bestseller was presented, the play Art by the French author Yasmina Reza. The young actors from Kropivnitsky, who were led by the art director of the local music and drama theatre, Yevhen Korman, dared to take on this staging.
Ми сміялись! Присягаюсь на речами, ми добре посміялися Вдвох разом.
Yes, it's Yasmina Reza. She's a very popular playwright. She once made a revolution, and it was this play, Art, that sounded very widely and was staged all throughout Europe. She has a lot of titles. That's it for this work and this drama. Well, we also decided to take this performance. So I think this work is worthy of travelling to other cities, and I think a festival like this is the right venue for such a performance. So in one of the chamber spaces of the Koleso Theatre in Kyiv, the group from Kropivnitsky presented their version of the modern intellectual comedy that introduced its author to the world. Did the Ukrainian actors and participants of the festival manage to get to the core and depth of the rather unintelligible and subtle humour of the French writer?
Дуже обґрунтовано. Здуріти, правда? Здуріти!
Это не эксперимент, это просто очень точная стилистика.
This is not an experiment. It's just a very accurate, stylistically consistent work on the rules of minimalism.
Специфическая комедия, тема которой, она такая не.
There is a modern comedy, a specific comedy, the theme of which is not so much a plot, but is deeply existential. Here is the place of modern art in the life of modern man. Actors try to answer these topics without any additional theatrical means. It is solely through their performances that they manage to do service to their resource. The creators of the Kirovorad Music and Drama Theatre called their performance "Do Not Leave Your Friends Unattended." The young acting group presented the story of three friends. This is a witty duel of male pride, which plunged the audience into the art of human generosity and tolerance. Anyway, the spectators are different. Suppose we take a viewer from Kyiv, a viewer from our hometown of Kropivnitsky, and a viewer from a small village. It will be completely different. They will react quite differently, and to foresee what will happen and how the audience behaves is very difficult, and in fact, not even worth doing. It is an exercise in futility. We should just do our job and get pleasure from our work. But at the same time, this performance turned the viewer's attention to problems that are related to the purpose and influence of art on society. Each of the heroes of this story in the course had to decide what is more important for them, their own selfishness or friendship. My character is a principled man. He is maybe even an amateur of some modern, unconventional, and at first glance, incomprehensible thing, but he sees in them something of his own. He sees some kind of beauty in them. This is a play about art in the life of modern man, and how a person treats this and compares himself with the modern art. It consistently uses some innovations and some absolutely sudden and unexpected tricks. Critics usually write about the production of art as follows. Three men were united by friendship until one of them bought a painting for a lot of money. The reaction of friends to the work of an unknown artist, a la Black Square by Malevich, was so different that all the disagreements that had been hidden earlier were reviewed. However, every spectator in this parable play found something of its own, just as it did in other plays of chamber theatres.
Тобі все не так, ти всіх зневажаєш і чомусь пишаєшся, що ти представник не свого часу.
Unfortunately, I've never been abroad during my 10 years of work in the theatre, and it's very interesting to see how people work, because an actor or a director will never go to see the play as a spectator. He's still looking at what interests him as a professional. An artist lives in impressions, which he then processes into his own images, into his rhythms and mise en scène. That is why the impression from what we saw, from meetings, from performances, from everything, this is the bread that we will absorb this information and then transform it into something else. The festival in Kyiv for Georgian and Ukrainian actors is an exchange of experience and the inception of new ideas for future collaboration. And the most important thing is a demonstration of the unfading force of art and its beautiful and highly effective humane mission throughout the world.